I already have lentils that were cooked. So I'm using them.
Great. So welcome to the Cooking Fun with Joanna. I am Joanna, your host, Nutrition with Nutrition in Motion. I am an intuitive nutrition therapy coach. So basically, I optimize your health and performance by helping you love your body and your life. And today we are making Cuban style beef and rice. I did not get beef, so I'm using pork, because that way I can still cube it instead of the ground beef that I have. But it's going to be, it's actually very delicious. And if you're going to be making, you can make potatoes, you can make rice. I was thinking of actually doing the red lentil pasta, and it looks like everybody else is doing some kind of other thing than rice.
I actually had lentils already cooked.
Okay, so you'll just have those on the side.
Right.
Shannon, you said you're doing the lentil pasta too, right?
I have some angel hair pasta.
But that'll still take
have quinoa,
8 minutes. So you probably want to kind of boil the water so that you have that ready. And I'm going to do the same thing because I'm going to make my lentils. So just go ahead and please keep that ready. You don't have to make it yet, but rice would take much longer. But we're going to turn that on. I do want you, Shannon, since you've got the electric stove, to turn the pan on. No, turn the stove on to heat a pan.
Okay.
Yeah. I have that here.
I forgot some of the things that I need for this. I didn't do the capers. I didn't find artichoke hearts, did you?
No, I actually, I just blanched some, what do you call it? I found Brussels sprouts. They have Brussels sprouts. And, you know, I forgot the capers, but they actually, I did find a substitute online for capers.
Okay, what was that?
It said to take the peppercorns, either green or white peppercorns, and brine them in a little bit of pickle and add a little bit of thyme to it. So that's what I did.
Oh, okay, awesome.
That's what it said online. I found a substitute because I also didn't have saffron, so I'm going to use turmeric because I forgot to get the saffron.
Okay, I have saffron, but you know. So what the recipe calls for is paprika, lime juice, and I'm going to use the, Santa Cruz lime juice because it's, easier than juicing a lime. Olive oil. Yes, I do have rum, so we're going to use some rum.
Rum, yeah.
Yeah, I know. If you didn't notice that part, let me remind you, there's rum in this recipe. Then there's some garlic. We're going to chop that up. It asks for fresh oregano, but I'm doing dried, and I'm sure you are too. Sea salt, ground pepper, cumin.
Clear. Yes, clear.
Pardon me?
No, I was yelling to my husband. He asked what kind of rum.
Rum. I have actually the black rum. So it's an amber one, but I don't know if it really matters. I like the flavor of the amber one. It gives it a little bit more of a molasses-y kind of.
That's good.
Then you're gonna do a pound of the beef, and we're gonna cube that. Chopped onion, and then you're gonna do your pasta. And then I forgot to get the diced tomatoes, but I've got to get the capers and the saffron threads. And then if you want to use green beans, you could do frozen green beans instead of the artichoke hearts.
Yeah,
cauliflower,
How much rum?
She'll let us know when we get there.
Yeah, we're not doing that yet. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna heat up we're gonna chop up the onion and the garlic first. That's what we're gonna do.
I need 2 onions.
So I'm gonna lay this over here. I think I'm gonna do the garlic first, which of course you have to have a big knife. And I always have such a hard time getting the skin off the garlic. Oh, this is coming. Now that I said that, it's actually coming off fairly easily.
Actually, you know what works really well? You take it in 2 big bowls and putting one bowl and then another bowl. or
Okay.
take it in a jar and just shake the crap out of it.
Oh, well, I'll have to remember that for next time. So what I'm gonna do is, I actually cut a piece off the top of the garlic, and then I'm gonna cut it into, sorry, somebody's moving. But I'm gonna cut it into the long strips, and then I'm going to turn it sideways and chop it with the big knife. So that way it will all be, it'll be kind of big chopped pieces, but I'm going to show you a little trick on how to dice the rest of it to make it smaller. So if you've got the big knife like I do, what you're going to do is you're going to hold the end of the knife. See, like this one's not even cut right. Then you're going to just hold on and put pressure on the end of that knife, and then move the knife around to cut the other pieces. So that way you can chop the rest of the garlic into diced little pieces instead of having it big slices like I had. Okay? And I think you're supposed to do 2 heads of garlic or 2 cloves. That was actually a really big clove. So I'm going to do 2 big cloves of garlic, because one can never have enough garlic. And garlic it's going to ward off the vampires, but it's also going to help boost our immune system. Even though raw garlic is better for that, the cooked is going to be just as beneficial. So we're going to do the same thing and kind of cut the garlic lengthwise first into slices, and then turn it on its side and push with your thumb and your middle finger and the other finger. And if you've got nails, it helps to actually hold on to the garlic a little bit better. And then use the main part of the knife to cut down. And then again, I've got one piece that ran away, and I need to dice it a little bit more. So I'm going to hold the end of the knife and put pressure on that while I just lift and move the rest of the knife. And that will chop the rest of the garlic. And there we have the garlic. And now we're going to do the onion. I have 1 big onion, where I think the recipe called for 2 smaller ones or 2 medium ones. So I'm going to go ahead and cut off the end and peel off the skin. If you're sensitive to onions, I used to always have my sister cut the onions because she has contact lenses, and the contact lenses protected her eyes from the tears. I'm not suggesting that everybody do contact lenses just to get just to not cry from onions, but it was one way of not crying when I cut the onions. So we're going to just dice the onion. If you've got the pan heated, you can actually put some butter and olive oil into there, or the ghee and olive oil. And then we're going to slice the onion lengthwise and then dice it. And I don't know if you noticed that I left the end of the onion on, so that way the whole thing doesn't fall apart as I cut it. And if you want to be fancy, you can cut it halfway across so that you get more diced. Now you got to hold on to it all so it doesn't slip out. So we're just dicing the onion. Nothing terribly exciting yet. And then get rid of that part and go to the second half and do the same thing. Cut it lengthwise. Then a little slice halfway. I still have 1 layer too many. It's making it hard to cut. And then you dice the rest of the onion. All right, so now if you got the gas stove, you can turn the gas stove on, put it on medium heat. Then you're gonna add your olive oil and your ghee or butter, whichever you have. And it's just gonna let that melt and heat up. Because if you don't allow it to heat up adequately, then everything's going to stick, and we don't want it to stick. All right. So while we're waiting for that, do we have garlic? I thought there was supposed to be ginger in here, but I guess that's not supposed to be in here. Saffron. In case you wondered what saffron looks like, I got it in a little box that's I don't even know where I got it, but I have a little box of saffron. It'll just add a little bit of flavor, but it's not something that's overpowering. And if I can figure out how to actually open my box of saffron, then I might be able to use some of it. So that's what saffron looks like. Can you see it? So it's these little teeny tiny strings. And then we're also going to end up, I think, chopping that up a little bit just to make it into smaller strings. But you won't necessarily notice a huge flavor whether you have it or don't have it. So if you don't have it, it's not going to be like the end of the world. So I think my oil is ready, so we can dump the garlic and the onions all into the pan. Now I can hear it sizzling. We're just gonna let that simmer for a little bit. And if you've got your beef or your pork, I've got the pork, then we're gonna go ahead and cut that into 1-inch cubes. Or you can cut it into strips. Okay? If I can get my pork out of the package, it might work a little bit better. But I'm gonna cut mine into just strips, since I've got the pork.
What?
You want just strips?
Whatever you want to make it.
So make it into like, you know, 3/4 inch strips.
Will you stop? What happened?
Is that your dog? Is the dog wanting to help cook dinner?
No, the pan's sizzling, so he keeps thinking that the alarm's going to go off, the smoke detector is going to go off, and then
Oh, okay.
that sets him off. Yeah.
So whether you've got the beef or the pork, you're just going to slice it into these 1/2 to 3-inch quarter strips. Or if you want to cube them, you can do that. But being that I'm a lazy cook, I'm not going to do the extra cutting. I'm just going to keep it where it is. Got my packaging, wash my hands. I'm going to get my capers because I forgot those.
Right, put stupid fire song on in here. I was wondering why this wasn't cooking.
Now we're just going to move it over here to to the stove. And that way you can see my onions are starting to brown, or they're actually just starting to cook. So go ahead and stir them a little bit. And this is where you actually want to throw in the, if you have cumin seeds, I want you to throw the cumin in now. So we're gonna put in the, pork or and beef, whatever you have. I'm gonna move the onions over a bit to make space for the meat in the middle. I'm just gonna put that in. Let the saffron go in there too. And we're just gonna pan sear the pork. So make sure that you can get as much of the surface area of the meat, of the beef or the pork, whichever you're using, or chicken if somebody's using chicken, onto the pan, laying it as flat as you can so that it would have a good cooking surface. Yeah, sometimes you have to whack the spatula on the edge of to get the excess onions off. And then this is where we're going to put some of the salt on, put some of the pepper, and this is also where you're going to sprinkle some of your paprika. And my one piece got doused with paprika where others are bare. But that's what happens when you cook. Things go everywhere. And I'm also going to put the oregano. You're putting in a teaspoon or a half a teaspoon of oregano. You want to put that in right now as well. And you're just going to let it sit there and cook on medium-high heat so that you can...
Salt, pepper, and oregano?
Salt, pepper, and oregano, and the cumin powder.
And the paprika.
And the paprika.
Yeah. And if you're making regular pasta, you might want to put, I mean, my water is boiling now. You can either start making that now or wait another 4 or 5 minutes.
Did we put the saffron in yet?
I just put it in.
Okay. Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and make my pasta while I'm waiting. But I'm since I've got these big linguinis, I'm going to do that. And put them in the water. I needed a little bit more. My eyeball measuring. And I think with the lentil pasta, it says it cooks for 9 minutes. So I'm going to put the timer on for 7. That'll want it to overcook. So your beef should be starting to get a little whitish on the edges, and that's what you want. And in a couple minutes, you're going to flip it all over. And in the meantime, while we're doing that, if you have the capers, because you want to cut the capers in half. And capers typically come in a solution. So you want to take the capers out with a fork. All right, where are my capers? Come on, capers, come out. So you're just going to use a fork to drain the liquid and grab you know, a tablespoon of those capers. You still want to use the same knife that you had been using earlier. What you're going to do, I don't know if you can see it, you're going to put the capers over and you're going to cut them, you're basically going to try to cut them in half.
No.
You're just going to dice the caper. You'll want to keep taking it off the knife because all the capers get stuck to the knife.
That's all clean. I mean, dirty. Throw everything in there dirty.
So now I think it's time to flip your meat. And it should be well good and browned on one side. This is what you want. That'll give it some really nice flavor. They have to take each one and flip it over now. If you want to add the capers, you can add them now. And don't forget to stir your pasta so that they don't stick all together. Now you're going to put a tablespoon of the, or maybe actually just a teaspoon of the lime juice into it. And you're just going to pour it on top. Probably a tablespoon. And that'll help some of these flavors to put together.
In one of my bags.
And then take those onions and kind of scoop them into the middle. And then you're going to pour the tablespoons of your rum into it as well.
Ooh, rum.
Rum, yes.
How much rum?
Rum.
Like a tablespoon.
2
Never enough.
tablespoons of rum.
How many?
2.
2.
2 tablespoons of rum.
All right. Who's in there?
Did you get the diced tomatoes?
Yeah.
Okay. You're going to be putting those in a little bit. I forgot to get the diced tomatoes. All I have is ketchup. Do you think that'll work?
No.
That's not going to work either. So I'll put a little bit of it. Maybe it'll give it at least a little bit of that tomato flavor.
Yeah, well, I had fresh tomatoes, so I cut up the fresh tomato.
My neighbor didn't grow tomatoes yet. They're not ready. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of a squirt of my reduced sugar Heinz ketchup. But it's made with honey. Just to give it that tomato-ish thing, but you didn't get the tomatoes. But now would be the time to put in your tomatoes. If you want to just put in half a cup or a full cup, your choice. I'm going to do a big stir it all together. Make sure it's all evenly coated. And you can turn the heat down a little bit if you're on a gas stove. Now it sounds like my pasta's almost ready. I'm just going to leave this to simmer for a little bit. If you have the artichoke hearts or green beans or some other vegetable, you can actually put that in.
You can add them now.
Pardon me?
Artichoke hearts. They were here.
I'm going to do some of the frozen green beans. But, you know, if we're going to do frozen artichokes, I'm going to do some frozen green beans. And I'm going to try to break them up in the packet, pour them in. And then I'm going to cover.
Just throw them on top.
Just throw them on top, and then you're going to cover it. I think I need scissors to cut up my ingredients.
And did we put the chicken stock in yet?
How liquidy is yours?
What?
Is yours really runny with the tomatoes?
Yeah.
Then don't put the chicken stock in.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's going to be too runny.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure when we were supposed to put that in. All right.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you know, if it's already too runny, then it's not. It's going to be too.
Yeah, because it's got plenty of liquid.
Yeah. So now you're just going to cover it. Since my pasta is ready, I'm going to go drain it.
Yeah, because I got fresh Brussels sprouts. So I blanched them earlier so they would cook a little faster.
Okay. Yeah, so just add those in and that should work perfectly.
Yeah.
Because it'll the blanched already, it's much easier.
Yeah, I figured that if I blanched them, then they would cook a little faster with everything.
Absolutely. Smart.
Yeah, I do that a lot with fresh vegetables. I'll like blanch stuff ahead of time and then freeze it.
I haven't gotten into that yet, but maybe I'll learn from your example.
It cooks a little faster.
Yeah, but this way, you know, if you cover it, then you know, some of the liquid will stay put. Just continue just kind of like simmering for the next 5 minutes. And I'm gonna get my bowl for the pasta. I am not gonna put butter on my pasta, even though I really want to. And you know what? I'm putting butter on my pasta.
No.
I'm just gonna do it. I think there's enough sauce to put on it that it'll kind of go with it, but I'm gonna shoot. And I'm gonna put butter on my lentil pasta. Shannon, how's yours coming along?
Slow and steady.
Okay. I have to wait for my green beans to cook. I turned mine off.
Yeah, I got fresh green beans, so.
You might be better off blanching them, putting them in with the pasta.
Okay.
Because I think steaming them will cook a little faster, or putting them in boiling water.
All right.
But I'm gonna sneak a piece of meat out of here. I'm gonna cheat and try a little bit early. My green beans still need some time. This is just gonna take a little time to get all the vegetables cooked. Next time we'll have to cook the vegetables separately. Because this seems like a slow way of cooking them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is what's the fun of cooking. You learn as you go along.
That's right.
There should be another 5 minutes, I would say.
Not sure you're going in the laundry room.
I had to actually add a little bit of more liquid into mine since I didn't have the diced tomatoes or tomatoes. So I put another tablespoon or two of just water just to let it simmer some more. And Shannon, when do you think yours will be done? 5 minutes?
Like the meat and stuff, it's pretty much there. I just had to do the pasta and finish up the green beans.
Okay. Because I think ours is almost done too. But at least we're not eons ahead of you this time.
Yeah, I was a little more prepared this week.
Well, I've gotten accustomed to, you know, you having the electric stove versus the gas.
Yeah, it really is so much slower.
Yeah, it
Apparently
takes a lot
know.
longer to heat up.
Yeah. Yeah, my whole house is electric and oil.
Okay. So this is what mine looks like, and it's looking actually pretty thick. Now my beans are starting to look like they're cooked. So I'm going to take the lid off, and I'm going to try one of my beans and see, is it actually cooked or is it just an illusion? But I gotta wait till it's, you know, cooled off. Otherwise, I might not be eating for a week. It would be one way of, you know, restricting your food by burning your mouth. And I do not recommend it.
No.
All right, my beans are ready. But I have to say, my whole dish doesn't seem, I don't think I put enough salt into it. It's like I don't know. I need more oregano, more everything.
Whew.
But other than that, it looks pretty good. I'm just gonna mix it all up, make sure some of those extra spices and all get mixed together. And this is what mine looks like. How's yours look?
I may have put too much liquid in here.
It's okay, just keep it on high and let it, just don't cover it then. Let it
Yeah, mine
evaporate.
has, I think some of my liquid needs to still cook off, so I'm gonna turn it up on high a little bit.
Okay. Or you could take it to the baker and pull it out if it's that much. But yeah, that's the challenge with some of these is like, you know, if you have rice, the rice would soak it up. But with pasta, the pasta is not going to soak up the extra liquid. That does look really good.
Can I put quinoa
That
in there?
looks good.
If you want, yeah.
All right, let me try that.
I'm gonna see that again.
What's that?
I'm gonna see that again.
Hold on a second. All right, there's mine.
Yum.
And mine now.
It looks good. That looks good. Yeah, definitely needed some extra spices. So when you try it, If you need to put more oregano into it, then put more oregano into it. But here's my, and next time I'm just gonna get a tomato and dice it up myself. I now know that ketchup isn't the way to do it. It would be, I would have to, you know, if you're gonna use something instead of tomatoes, use tomato paste.
Yeah.
Because even though I got this, you know, sweetened with honey, reduced sugar, tomato ketchup, it's still too much sweetness. But you still learn that, you know, even though I've been cooking for a really long time, I still experiment. And you find out what works and what doesn't. And now we know ketchup is not a good substitute. If it was just I mean, it wasn't even that much, but it was enough to just put too much sweetness into it. But this is my finished product.
Nice. Looks yummy.
So it's still like letting off lots of steam, so I can't try it yet.
What my water's doing?
Is your water boiling? Is your pasta already done?
No, I'm having technical difficulties. Just didn't come to a rolling boil yet. I don't know what I did.
Well,
I got it on high, so it'll cook one of these days.
yeah, one of these days. That's definitely a really nice combination once you get it all together. Really nice spicy. It's flavorful spicy without being hot spicy.
Use the meat.
So next time we are going to do the Indian spice stuffed eggplant because I did try it. The only thing that we're going to do though is we're not going to stuff the eggplant. We're just going to roast it in the oven, make the other stuff, and then just put it all together. Because I had a hell of a time trying to put it back into the eggplant shell.
Mm-hmm.
And so then it was just eggplant, you know, chopped up roasted eggplant with.
My mom used to make that.
And it was really good.
Yeah, the eggplant, you gut out the eggplant and then you cut up everything, put it back in the shell.
No,
and
you're supposed to actually roast the eggplant on its own. Then you take it out already roasted.
She used to.
And then you're supposed to put all this together in a pan, put it back into the eggshell or the eggplant shell, and put it back into the oven. And that's the part we're going to omit, is because it just was it's too many steps. It's too much work.
That's what she used to do.
Yeah, just too much work. So it's the unstuffed eggplant.
Okay.
Because you're gonna put it in something else, on a bed of some kind of vegetable.
What were you going to stuff it with anyway?
No, you're basically stuffing the eggplant. So you're making you roast the eggplant, take it out, roast it with the beef, and then put it back into the shell, and then put that in the oven for another 15, 20 minutes.
So it's kind of like stuffed peppers.
It's kind of like stuffed peppers, but it's stuffed eggplant with its own eggplant.
Okay, interesting.
But I decided that I would try it, and then it was useless. It was an exercise in futility trying to actually put it back into the shell.
Yeah, my mom actually.
It was really, really good. You know, just the eggplant with the beef and the spices, so freaking yummy.
Yeah, my mom actually made a while back. Well, I make it too. You take the eggplant, green peppers, and roast them, and then take them out, chop them all up with an onion, and then vinegar and garlic, and then it's like a relish, and you just put that in the fridge.
Nice,
Mm.
nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
but we're gonna do something with that the Indian spiced eggplant, except that it's not gonna be a stuffed eggplant. So I'll come up with that, and that'll be next, the next one. But it was really good.
All right.
So, because I don't have my dates correct in my head, I have to look it up on my phone to see what is it that, what is our next date? The 4th.
Last week of July.
No, it's the 4th of
4th.
August.
4th of August.
The 4th of August. In 2 weeks.
Ah,
So
Oh,
August
2
4th is
weeks.
gonna be our eggplant concoction. All right?
all right. I'll be down the shore, but I'll still do it.
Hopefully they'll have gas cooking then. You can, no, I'm kidding.
It's possible.
We'll still,
It's possible.
it's possible, but yeah, but you'll be able to still join us because, you know, it'll still be fun.
Yeah,
to
I
make
have a full kitchen, so I'm going to still cook.
That's good.
Perfect.
All right.
Okay.
You don't have to wait for me because I'm slow.
Well-
But I did taste it. It's delicious.
It's delicious. Yes, it's really good.
Really
But
good.
see, and then join us on August 4th, and we're gonna do the not stuffed eggplants, not stuffed eggplant.
Sounds good.
Exactly. It's a mouthful.
Yeah, the not stuffed eggplant.
Well, if you want to use modern terminology, now they call it deconstructed.
Ah, yeah.
Oh, so it's a deconstructed stuffed eggplant.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll do that.
That's better.
Deconstructed stuffed eggplant.
Just a
Perfect.
fancy way of saying it's unstuffed. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And so yeah, so join us for our next Cooking Fun with me, Joanna Hodorowska, with Nutrition in Motion. And if you have any questions or suggestions, just contact me at nutritioninmotion.net. See you in 2 weeks. Enjoy.
All right, thanks.
Yeah.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye.